Wafa Wafa, it's the MTN8 Semi-Finals contending this weekend. Banele doubleheader, of course, to look forward to. It's Kaizer Chiefs against AmaZulu, and then, of course, what seems to be brewing as one of the biggest rivalries in the country now. It's Sundowns against Orlando Pirates. Let's start off with that one because there has been talk on social media. Is this the biggest game of the season? This is the two teams that people are expecting to see, come at the end of the season, first and second. I think you as well are predicting a finish like that. So, biggest game of the season. Let's start there.
I think for me, the reason we're saying that is because if you look at Pirates, when Coach Micho and Coach Rolani was still at Pirates, those were the two teams that were fighting for the title. And those were the two teams that you knew if you came up against them, you're getting a hiding, and that's how it was. They both finished first and second in those two seasons. Obviously, with Pirates letting it go in the second to last game in Cape Town. But when you look at that, they've kept the same team, your Mayelas, your Loaches, and all of that, and they've made some interesting additionals, So it was very surprising to see Pirates not challenging Sundowns over the years. Chiefs tried once, which we all know. But I don't like using the word fluke, but it was just overachieving, that one season. But they've never ever been a title contending team. Pirates have always had that, So now Pirates went on to the Confederations Cup final last season, and we said, but that's what this team should be achieving because they've got all the players, So now Jose Rivero came. He's got a very good reputation. He's an interesting coach, and we wanted to see how Pirates will do under this new coaching, and they've played very well. They've done very well this season. So that is why we're saying this is actually the true colors of the Orlando Pirates. They've made some interesting additions, bringing back Ukemit Erasmus. Ndumiso Mabene is currently on trial in the team, and that's an interesting one too. Got a lot of people talking on social media. They're saying, "Hi, but why do we need Mabene?" But when you look at Pirates, and that's what we've saying over the last few seasons, especially last season, I still believe if they had a goal scorer, just a goal scorer, they would have won CAF Confederations. They shouldn't have lost to FC Rabat.
Well, it's not just the goals, but also that experience as well.
Exactly, exactly. So when you've brought back Ukemit Erasmus, which is a gamble, we have to use that word because when a player is benched for 2 seasons, he then becomes rusty. So we don't know what we're going to get.
It's actually been longer than 2 seasons if you count his overseas stint.
Exactly, but he went to Cape Town City, he revived himself a bit, but at Sundowns, 2 full seasons, he hasn't been playing. So we don't know if he's rusty or is the Cape Town City Erasmus. So it's a bit of a gamble. If it doesn't work, you've got an alternative, which is Ndumiso Mabene, This is a player that has been scoring 10, 12, like that for Celtics.
Not the greatest teams, to be honest.
For Celtics and for Royal AM. So if he can score 12, Erasmus scores 12, Lepasa scores 7, and you've got maybe a Pepra scoring 5. You've
and
got
a Lodge scoring 5
and
goals
a
from
Lodge
other
and
areas.
A Pule, then you've now solved your goal scoring problems. You've got like 40, 30 goals, 50 goals in a season, and that's enough to challenge. 50 goals is enough to challenge Mamelodi Sundowns. That is Ushalulile that's scoring 23. So Pirates have brought those interesting players up front. They've kept your Pepras. They've brought your Mahopas as well. So who's still battling with injuries. But so it will be interesting to see. That's why we're saying now this is the only team that we look at and say they've got the squad to challenge Mamelodi Sundowns. So that's why we say this game is the game of the season because it's 2 very strong teams on paper. So it'll be interesting to see. I agree with the statement.
Do Pirates now have the firepower in their arsenal to go neck and neck or pound to pound with Sundowns? Can they knock them out of the MTN8? This is the first piece of silverware up for grabs this season, so it's going to be interesting times ahead.
Definitely, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, this Pirates team shouldn't even be where they were the last couple of seasons. We shouldn't even be.
So they have the quality to match Sundowns.
Definitely, we shouldn't even be asking these questions. Can they do this? Can they do this? It should be a question that, hey, it's that game, what you think? Like Sundowns, we don't ask.
2 top teams.
Exactly. We don't ask, can Sundowns beat Pirates? Because we know they've got the capabilities. They should be there. So now they're slowly climbing up the ladder. They're not there yet, hence why we're still asking these questions, hence why we're still having this conversation. But Saturday will tell us the full story. Pirates have been the whipping boys against the Mamelodi Sundowns, and they'll want to change that. And if they can win this game, I think the confidence in that Pirates camp will be sky high. Then everybody's going to see what we've been seeing in the last couple of games, and everybody's going to start respecting Jose Rivero even more. And it's not to say if they lose, they're down and out. But if they can eliminate the Sundowns over the 2 legs, then that will be the Pirates that we all expect and we all think they are.
It will be the Pirates that we all expect to see, but will they do it?
I think they can. You know, I remember.
Will they? They can. We both know. But will they?
I'd say so. I'd say so. If you're putting me in a corner like how you do now, I'd say so. I mean, even if you can ask who Coach Rulani and Coach Mangoba, the game they won 4-1, I think it was the Nedbank Cup last season, if not the season before. So, I mean, going into that game, they were absolutely confident that they'll beat Pirates. Every Sundowns fan was confident. But right now, if you can see the training, you'll see that it's different. They're speaking a different language. They're saying, guys, we're playing up against a tough team because that's the improvement that has happened.
I'm not playing for throw-ins and ground further up the pitch.
So because of odds and the pricing, I'll go for Pirates here as the dark horse. I'd love to see them beat Mamelodi Sundowns.
Amazulu and Kaizer Chiefs, another big one.
Talk about a game that's there, and then now we're moving to a game that's here. You know, there's a lot that's going on at Amazulu. I mean, we've seen some slight hints. We've seen Uzungu coming out, the Amazulu owner, chairman, coming out and saying, no, Tinkler's not, Ruben Truter is not, Brendan Truter is not under fire, you know. And we've seen a lot of journalists saying some players are unhappy. There's a lot going on. If he doesn't qualify for the finals, chances are he'll be sacked, you know.
Yeah.
There's people saying chances are Fadlu Davids was having a conversation with Amazulu. Fadlu came out and said, no, that's not true. He's now signed with the Locomotive Moscow to kill those rumors. But the fact that there are talks with other coaches, it means there's something happening, you know. And then you look at Chiefs also. The fans were like, before the Super Sport game, Arthur Zwane no more. The Zwane ball, not for us. It's not going to work. You can't be developing or building a team and developing a manager at the same time. It doesn't work like that. So there's been talks like that, you know. So that's why I said we're talking about a game that's there and a lot of uncertainties in the game. So both coaches, Zwane and Truta, desperately need the MTN8 or at least reach the finals, because if you don't qualify for that, you'll be under heavy criticism and under fire. So for me, I think it will be an interesting game, more open than the first one, very close. Anyone can win this game. I can't separate the two teams. I think it will be draw, then penalties.
I'm going to play a bit of devil's advocates over here and ask you a media-related question. The KZN teams, of course, the KZN journalists, the KZN media, are very close to the KZN teams. I'm not too sure that's the case in Joburg. I stand to be corrected where, you know, they're getting every single bit of information. Could be a similar case in Cape Town to KZN. But do you think that plays a negative effect on the KZN clubs? I mean, we sort of know when there's uncertainty, whether it's your Maritzburg, your Amazulu Golden Arrows, and Kaizer Chiefs, we don't know what's happening.
So what usually happens is that when a team, I'll use the word small team so people can understand my point. When a small team also, they want to be close to the media because they need the media and the media needs those clubs. So you then have that relationship, you know. A big team like Kaizer Chiefs or Pirates
don't need the media.
They always want to avoid the media because they're under fire, they're under this, they've got a huge fan base, they've got this, like take a Royal AM, for example. You need the media, you need to advertise because you're still looking for supporters, Amazulu, your Arrows. So that's why you find teams like Joburg, because there's more big teams there. They're a bit distant. You never know like what's happening until something is announced officially by the club. But in KZN, there's always, you know, clues and stories that are being leaked from the team because, like what you said, the journalists are too close. That can work in a negative way. That can work in a positive way. It just depends what the club, where the club is at that particular time. You know, like for example, Royal AM and Amazulu, when they finished second and third, you know,
they needed as much exposure.
They needed as much exposure. That's why the coaches were getting your Coach of the Year awards and all of that, because everybody could see what is happening. But now when the chips are down and you're fighting for relegation, like Maritzburg were under Ernst Middendorp, you don't need as much media because they'll be picking up the negatives and say, this why this team is there and they are so and so in this, So it becomes tricky in that sense. It just all depends on where the club is standing at the moment. Then that's where we can judge if it's negative or positive.
Catch-22 situation indeed. But let's finish off with predictions. You've given me your prediction with Pirates and Sundowns. Pirates are going to win. I mean, Pirates colors. You're in Pirates colors.
Black.
Thoughts on Chiefs and Amazulu?
I can't separate the two teams. Even the league game, I did expect a 0-0 draw. I'd actually tipped a 0-0 draw there on our podcast. So again, I can't separate the two teams. If maybe Caleb Beminyama, if maybe he can replicate his form that he did against the SuperSport, then Chiefs have got a slight chance. But for me, I think it's just another stalemate here. I think they'll draw. Maybe away goals can count on where it was a 1-1 in the 0-0, or they can just be 1-1 penalties. I wouldn't be surprised. But I think both games will end in draws.
Yeah, certainly the international break did come the wrong time for Caleb.
Yeah.
But that is the thoughts of myself, Jason Nagel, as well as Banele Pikwa. Of course, we're wishing all 4 teams remaining in the MTN8 all the best this weekend. Banele, until next week.
Sharp.
Cheers. For more soccer betting tips and previews, get the latest copy of Soccer Betting News for only 10 Rand at your nearest Hollywood Bets branch or news agent.